Hey, welcome to another Liquid Bullet Productions. I'm currently at the UK Martial Arts Show and I've actually stolen a UK legend in the Thai boxing industry, Mr. Sandy Holt.
Lee, thank you. Absolutely not a legend.
Well, in my days when I was growing up, you was always in all the magazines and you was a big name, so.
Oh, God bless you. Leg end, as I call myself. Oh, end of leg. So yeah, thank you. Yeah, and you know, what a great day. You said UK Martial Arts Show here in Doncaster. They've been running this now for I think about 6 or 7 years. I've managed to come to nearly every one. I think I missed one, and then obviously had the COVID, didn't they? So yeah, that took a bit of a sting out of it. But yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and a pleasure to meet you, Lee, after all these years.
You as well, Sandy.
Thank you, sir.
So, Sandy, just going to pick up on a couple of bullet points. Obviously, you've been teaching for many years now. How many years in total is that?
First started in 1977. I was blessed with meeting Grandmaster Sken, who's my teacher, as you probably know. I was blessed to be here at the very start when the three major, I mean, there was other Thai teachers here, probably not as prevalent, but the main ones being, you know, Grandmaster Sken, Grandmaster Toddy and Grandmaster Woody, the famous three, as they say. They brought it here. They came actually at around 76, but sort of started teaching in 77, which is where I actually had the pleasure of meeting Grandmaster Sken in Bolton, which is where I'm from. He was teaching in a Thai Jutsu place on a Thursday and a Saturday, and I saw an advert in a Bolton newspaper saying, learn the ancient arts and the devastating kicks of Muay Thai. And at that time I was doing karate and jiu-jitsu. I was a brown belt, I was into martial arts, the Bruce Lee boom. And I thought, what is that? Never heard of it, because there was no book. I think there was one book on it in the whole world you could get. I think it was Thaiboxing Dynamite or something it was called. And yeah, so basically, you know, I started then, 1977, and still doing it today, and it's 2023. So yeah, a couple of years in the bank, so to speak.
You also won a few titles in your time as well.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to you know, compete on the circuit. I had 21 fights. There was a lot of fights back then. I mean, it isn't now. Yeah, people now were like, you know, some of the likes of Liam Harrison, and you know, you've got some phenomenal Thai boxers now out there that are just absolutely killing it. You know, Haggerty, who's, you know, the one championship and things, and gone on to do amazing things in this country. So, you know, back then when I was fighting, we had to fight kickboxers, we had to fight karate guys, we was fighting everyone. So it's difficult to get a Thai boxing fight. But I did all right. Like I said, 21 fights. I won 2 British and a European title. So British lightweight twice, and then the European super featherweight.
Cool. So Sandy, can I just sort of roll back and jump back to the beginning? So just a little bit about where you was brought up and sort of your upbringing.
Yeah, obviously, you know, I would say sunny Bolton by the sea, in Doncaster, where we are. Yeah, in Bolton, it's the biggest town in the UK. Like I said, very big town. Big for martial arts at the time. There's a guy called Joe T, and he was very famous in karate at the same time as myself. And for as much as, you know, it's a northern town, as everyone knows, there's a lot of famous people come from there. You know, they've got Amir Khan, the world boxing champion, Peter Kay, the comedian. You know, there's loads of people that's come out of Bolton that's done really well. So it's a good town, it's a great town. And like I said, I had Muay Thai and Thailand come to me. Yeah. I was blessed. Master Sken was teaching in Bolton in 1977. I started on the 17th of November 1977, which is coming up to 46 years this year, and I'm the same age as you, 23.
Yeah.
Do the maths.
So what first got you interested into martial arts when you was little or when you was grown up?
The Bruce Lee boom. You know, going to the movies, watching Enter the Dragon, and seeing Bruce Lee. He was a guy not much bigger than myself, not much different in weight and size and stature, absolutely killing it on the silver screen, and you know, I think opened the world to the Western world, the martial arts from the East that people didn't know much about. It was a very mystical thing, wasn't it? You know, and so having watched the films, and you know, then started to buy the Kung Fu Monthly, and then the combat magazines, martial arts magazines, Martial Arts Illustrated, all these things. So there was a lot going on. Martial arts was quite big, but sort of more of it was an underground scene, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Before it became massive as it is now in the world. You know, like I said, you had the UFC, you know, you've got all the Thai boxing going, the one championship, you know, boxing obviously has been around forever, as we know, but martial arts burst onto the scene in the, I'm guessing, you know, the 60s, a little bit before my time, but became, you know, strong in the 70s, 80s, and we've just seen it, you know, the incline has been incredible.
Well, who was a sort of inspiration to you, sort of when you was first stepping into martial arts?
Well, again, Bruce Lee, it was just seeing this guy who was like literally 5'6", 5'7", 10 stone. I weighed less than that, so not much different. And thinking, this little guy can do this and look after himself. Because I was bullied at school for like 3.5 years in my secondary school, and I was the youngest, the smallest, and ginger hair and freckles. I didn't have this mad haircut like them. Still got the freckles though. And so I was just called, I was basically ruined for being a ginger. And so you do something, I don't do something. So I took up martial arts. I started with, as I said, karate with a guy called Jeff Whitehead, God bless him, thank you Jeff. Did karate, and he did a bit of jiu-jitsu with that. So I was doing a few different martial arts back then. I was trying them out.
Yeah.
I was sampling them. And then when I saw that advert in the paper in 1977, come and learn Muay Thai, I thought I'll give it a go. And I've done it ever since. I've never stopped. So like I said, 46 years this year.
Did you find, obviously when you say you've done karate first, obviously it's more semi-contact sport orientated for like the fighting side, isn't it? How did you find the transition from sort of the semi-contact to the full contact with Thai boxing?
Right, well, obviously, yeah, because traditional martial arts are known as non-contact, as you said, semi-contact. It was a big step, and I'll be honest with you, it was something that I remember. I'll never forget my first lesson, because I was there with my brown belt on in a karate suit, stood in a karate stance. I just got my leg kicked off by Master Sken. So I got my first taste of a dead leg, and I was getting kicked in the head, and I was wondering why, because my hands was down here. So it was a very rude awakening, but it was one that I realised that there was a definite need to learn something more than traditional. But I just found a taste for it from day one, and I signed up that particular day. And it stays imprinted in my mind. That date, so that I'll never. My first lesson, as you'll know yourself, with the first thing you do on the first time you ever do anything like that. Your first lesson you will never forget for the rest of your life.
I think that inspired me when I went from karate to kickboxing, and I got beaten, to be fair. That inspired me to keep going back, I think.
Well, that's the thing, it can work two ways, can't it?
Yeah.
It can put you off.
Yeah.
Or it can inspire to, to think, wow, there's some leaks here, I need to fix these. Fortunately, like I said, I think maybe because I was bullied for 3.5 years at school, that I was sick of being beat down, that I thought I need to man up, I need to toughen up, I need to do something, where I can look after myself. And with only being a short guy, as you can tell, I'm like 5'6", 9.5, 10 stone wet through. I need to be able to stand up to the bigger people and the bullies in the world. And I did it so I could, basically, I did it for the wrong reason. I thought I'm going to go back and beat every one of these bullies up. There was half a dozen of them at school that was beating me up on a day-to-day basis. I was getting filled in every day, verbally, physically abused, and I just thought, you know what, I need to do something. I tried defending myself in school, didn't know anything, and just got filled in every time. And every time I had threatened to sort of go and tell my parents or a teacher, I just got battered twice as much. So I thought, how can I do something? And I thought martial arts is the key. Yeah. And I've been very fortunate throughout my life that I managed to stand up to the bullies. I never went back. The 6 people that bullied me at school, I've probably seen 3 or 4 of them. And I was determined when I got good. I thought, I'm going to fill every one of these guys in. I'm going to smash them up to bits. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you know what? I didn't need to. Yeah. When I met them, every one of them was scared to death, humbled, and couldn't say enough good things to me. And I'm like, it sort of threw me out a bit. And then I learned about martial arts. It's not about hitting people back, because revenge never ends. No. So the satisfaction of this, I just won my British title. I was in the front page of the Bolton News, big colour picture of me doing this pose with my belt on, and all these people in Bolton were all coming up shaking hands, and I was like, wow, how's this happened? It was very humbling, and it was very nice to feel actually achieving something instead of getting battered and bullied. And the bullies come up to me with just going like, Sandy, you've done so well, and I'm sorry what I did to you at school, and I hope, please don't beat me up.
Yeah, I suppose you didn't need to beat them up. They've already seen you do that, and that's enough.
So it was a nice way of landing a punch without landing a punch. Bruce Lee, the art of fighting without fighting.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Can you talk us a little bit through your fight career, sort of how your first fight was and where you went up through the ranks?
Wow. Yeah, my first fight was in Leeds, 1981, fighting under Grandmaster Sken, of course. Went out there, and the guy I was fighting, I think, was from Master Woody's student. I was very lucky. The guy come running out, he did a front kick, and it sort of woke me up. I just got caught with a kick, and I remember he actually cut me there. I don't know if his toenails were sharp or something, I don't know. But I had a little cut there, and sort of in my sternum. knocked me back, and I just saw the realisation of why I'm in the ring, what I'm here for, and I need to do what I've been training for the last couple of years that I've been training. And I just went out and I just basically just went for him. I don't know what I was doing properly. I could hear Master Skin in the background, and I just unloaded a lot of combinations on him and just railroaded him and stopped the fight in the first round. So I got like a technical knockout. The guy just give up. And that was my first fight and first introduction, which I got a taste for, of realising that after being beaten up for 3.5 years, I've suddenly not beat somebody up, because that's not what martial arts and Thai boxing is about. But the fact is, somebody trained equally with the same weight, same experience, same everything, and it was, it was a 50-50 thing. But obviously I trained a bit harder than he had, and probably wanted a bit more, I don't know, and had a drive that would come from being bullied. So I had something to prove, I think, maybe. Yeah. And it was done in a good environment, in the square ring. And so, of course, that's when I started moving up the ranks, started fighting, from fighting at the very beginning of the show to ended up fighting, being, the end of a show, which is obviously top of the bill when you're fighting for a title. So it was a great, humbling experience. It was a fantastic experience. And I finished on a high, because I finished with a win. And as they say in the game, is, you're only as good as your last fight, don't they? And I was fortunate to win my European title fight on my last fight, and that's when I started. I don't like using the word retiree, because it sounds like you're 65 and getting your pension. But I stopped fighting, and I made a conscious effort of it, because you have to be selfish to fight. And I had a gym full of fighters that I was training with and sparring with, Bolton Thai Boxing Club, which I opened in 1983. So this year is my 40th year. I'm celebrating with my gym.
Congratulations.
So thank you, sir. And I produced like nearly 40 champions. Wow. So I've had the blessings of being able to do it and show it. So, but when you are fighting, like I said, you have to be selfish. I was training 7 days a week, and I couldn't really help these fighters too much, because I was training myself as well and training with Master Skin every day. 7 days a week I was doing. Too much really, but I was never natural. So I felt that if I train every single day, then I can at least be good. I probably overtrained looking back, and I've never let any of my students do 7 days like I was doing. 6 maximum. Most people only do 3 and 4. But I knew, because I wasn't natural at it, that I had to be in the gym 7 days a week, and I was training twice a day, and I was working 6 days a week. Looking back, I don't know how I did it. Stamina was my forte, and that's what won me nearly every one of my fights. I only lost 2, and they were on points. One I took on a 5-day notice, and that was in Sweden, and I fought the Swedish champion. Master Skin asked me on the Monday, do you want to fight? I said, when, sir? He said, Saturday. I went, yep. And in the ring I was fighting on the Saturday.
3 days.
So yeah, but I was in the gym every day, Lee, so
she's already
no
fight
excuse.
fit for
and I spent 7 years in a fighting career of those 21 fights, on average of 3 fights a year, and I never lost one through fitness. So the one fight that I lost, the first fight I lost, was to Jeff Bullock. And if you're watching, and he's in Australia now, a Scouser. I fought him in Liverpool on his show. It was him and his brother's show, and I gave him too much respect. I'd heard too many things about him, and I let it get to my head. By round 3, I realised he wasn't hurting me, and I thought, but it was too late. I only had 2 rounds to catch up, and I couldn't catch it up. He was too far ahead. I didn't get hurt, and I wanted a rematch, and it took me, I think it was about 4 or 5 years to get that rematch, and I fought him in Bolton, so it was like, and I beat him on that show, and it was 1 for 1. And then the other loss was the one I just mentioned in Sweden, which was only on points. I gave away half a stone in weight, 5 days notice, and the Swedish guy came over to the fight. He said, "You won," and I said, at best I thought I got a draw, but I'm in their country. You know yourself.
Yeah, they're going to on their hometown.
There's always going to be that, and when if you understand that, when you go to fight abroad, you should fight twice as hard. And I say to my fighters when I took fighters, I took Justice. She's one of my first world champion actually. Justice Center. I took her to America. She fought the Japanese world champion. I said, "You're going to be fighting 5 people." She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're going to fight the Japanese world champion. You're going to be fighting 3 judges and a referee." I said, "So I'm going to train you 5 times harder." And she won, because she took the Japanese was the world champion in America. They couldn't find a girl in America to fight her. Flew us over from the UK. She went over there and she beat the girl and took the title off her. And and that's why that's how I have this philosophy of don't go just to win. You've got to go there to knowing that you are going to be in their back garden. So, you know, expect that you're going to be fighting against the judges and home. I don't agree with home time decisions because it only comes back on you when you bring people back to your home.
Yeah.
So, you know, really, you know, as judges are and most people are, as we know, you know, you've got to remain impartial. That's how it should be.
Yeah. Sandy, if you hadn't gone down a fight career, was there anything as a child that you sort of dreamed that you'd want to be? Like some kids dream they want to be a fireman or this or that.
This is a good one. I actually was. A lot of people don't know this particular type of dancing and music, but Northern Soul is famous from the Wigan Casino, and I was doing that while I was doing martial arts, and I was the 2 times UK Northern Soul dance champion.
Oh wow!
So I actually fancied dancing, and I was going to go in maybe into choreography, doing that sort of stuff. I was into like jazz funk dancing. You know, disco. I did a couple of disco competitions as well, so for my sins. But yeah, I think it would have been one of those two. But they're not a million miles apart because, you know, it's very, very physical. And Thai boxing, as you know, fights to music. You know, they have the Ram Muay, the ritual, pre-ritual dance. They have the fight music because it's tempo, and you know, maybe that helped me, and maybe not. I don't know, but yeah, I think perhaps it would have been a dancing career, maybe. But it was Thai boxing and martial arts that took over.
Yeah. Can you just explain a little bit of obviously Thai boxing? You also have the more brand side of it, don't you? Can you just explain the sort of the difference between the two systems there for me?
Yeah, I mean, I've just done a seminar today here, and I said to the students who was on it, there was mixed karate guys, jiu-jitsu, there was Tang Soo, there were loads of guys doing it, and I said to them, you know, Muay Thai, I said, is more not just the sport that people see, you know, with a kick and a punch instead of a knee and an elbow, you know, fighting in a ring. Muay Baran is the traditional Muay Thai, dates back, you know, 1,000 years, more. It was used to for people to fight, to defend the country, which basically there's no rules. So Muay Baran was used where they could continue fighting to the floor, whereby, you know, you've got grappling, you had wrestling, there's locks, there's, you know, chokes, you know, it's basically an all-round system that you can, it's a complete fight system. It's like the UFC, but there's no rules, so there's ground and pound. You know, you could put somebody in a headlock, you could choke them out, and then Muay Baran is a weapon system, so the swords, the staff, you know, the dagger, and you know, when those weapons were broken or they were taken off you, then you do unarmed combat. And you know, Thailand's never been captured. There's no country ever took over Thailand. It fought against Burma. Burma took the capital, Sukhothai, but then all the people from Thailand came down to Sukhothai and fought the Burmese back out of there. So the country's never been completely took over because the combat fighting system is unparalleled. I mean, you know yourself from the UFC, the striking, 90% of that's Muay Thai.
Yeah.
You know, the elbows and, you know, the knees, and then the grappling. So, you know, when you're stood up in Muay Thai and you're doing grappling, or, you know, as we call it, clinch, if you actually do that and then put it on the floor, it's the same.
Yeah.
You know, and Muay Baran is extended to that, where they will do snap your ankle, they will snap your joints and stuff. And I did some of that in Thailand. I've done that with Grandmaster Sken. He showed us a lot of that, but he would only show it to people that have been training with a while that wouldn't go off and misuse that. You know, using that on the street and snapping people's arms and doing something like that. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know, so it's you know, really it's something there for self-preservation. But I do teach it, but I do teach it to the sort of higher level students.
Sandy, can I just ask you, what do you find a difference between training in Thailand and training over here? Is there much variety between the two?
Obviously, you know, Thailand's the mecca of Muay Thai. It's where it came from. It's where Grandmaster Sken, my teacher's from. And, you know, like I said, I was very fortunate that I had Thailand come to Bolton.
Yeah.
And a Muay Thai master in Bolton. It was like, wow. So I was one of the first actual students to go to Thailand. Grandmaster Sken wrote me a Thai letter out. Went to train with the famous, and God bless him, Master Yotong, Grandmaster Yotong Senan. He passed away a few years ago, where he runs the famous Sid Yotong camp. Everyone's heard of that. And I was blessed to train there when I was a very few Falang. Falang means person of not from this country. People translate as foreigner. Well, that's like can be deemed as a negative word. In Thailand, it means not from Thailand. So Falang, just to explain that one. And I was one of the few Falang in the camp. There was a Dutch guy training there at the time, Robbie Carmen, famous Dutch kickboxer. He was around at that time, and obviously know Raymond Deckers. And I trained at the famous Sid Yotong camp, with Master Yotong, and no one in there spoke English. So, but I was fortunate enough that Grandmaster Sken, my teacher, taught me, and I was at a reasonable level when I went there. But I felt like I was like an absolute beginner equally. So I got there. This is 1984. So like I said, I was one of the first ever students, to train there. And I got this letter written out in Thai, asking Grandmaster Yotong if he would train me while I was there. And the camp training was solid. We're training on concrete, skipping on concrete. It was very basic.
So Sandy, obviously you also do commentary now on major events, Muay Thai shows. How did you get into that, and what's it like actually seeing it from ringside to actually being in there?
Oh, another great question, Lee. You know what? I remember going down to London. A guy called Louis Papaspiro, he's a Greek gentleman who's lived in the UK, and he was looking for commentators. So he did must have been 1,000 tapes he had from Dutch, Thailand, all in either Dutch or in Thai, French, and he wanted somebody who could speak English and talk over them. And he didn't know anyone in the UK that knew what it was and could actually, put it over and talk over, obviously the foreign language and explain it. And like I said, fortunately, I was one of the early students, not the first one, but one of the early ones. And I understood what it was, what Muay Thai is, and tried to explain it to people and explain the scoring, the striking, what it was. And I've got a big gob. Got a big mouth, and I think because I speak up a lot, I think I was chosen by the loudest guy in the room, the smallest guy in the room, the daftest haircut in the room, and I think basically by default really. So I became like Master Sken's PR and Muay Thai PR a little bit. So I was commentating on videos, the old VHS videos back in the day, and DVDs, and I've done it for probably 40 years.
Wow.
And then that obviously led on to people asking me, could I commentate, at the ringside, and that led on to getting some contracts abroad. So I've been very blessed to commentate in probably 30, 40 countries around the world. And the beauty of it, Lee, is to sit in ringside watching some of the best fighters in the world, and to be able to commentate on them, witness these absolute superstars of the world and meeting them. I remember commentating on Bob Sapp. You remember the Bob Sapp?
Yeah, Bob Sapp.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm sat here commentating on like this legend K1 fighter, and I'm just thinking, wow. And there's too many names. I don't want to start name dropping it. Just the who's who. I've been very blessed to be able to commentate on. Yeah. And obviously, I've got a Bolton accent, but I try to drop that when I am commentating so you can understand what I am saying. But they're like, look at Vinny Showman, he's done really well with this, hasn't he? And he's got an accent, and he's very, he's got all that enthusiasm, which you need. You've got to have that being a commentator. And if you've got passion, you've got drive, and you know a little bit about what you're talking about, then you'll make a good commentator. Because not everyone can sit in front of a camera. Most people are camera shy in the UK. You stick a camera in front of an American and they're like, hey man, not a problem. You stick one in front of a Brit and they're like,
That's the beauty of this. I just chat and forget that's there.
Yeah, there's no camera. We're just having a chat, Lee. And I think, it's something that you can learn, and I learnt it. And, I am not scared of a camera. I remember being on, I don't know if you remember it, as a TV programme called You Bet.
Yes.
And I was on that, and it was 12.5 million people live on a Saturday night. And I had to kick 15 apples off 15 Thai swords in a minute. And Woking Thai Boxing Club helped us out with Bolton Thai Boxing Club to hold the swords. And Jess Saunders, he runs the Woking Thai, he helped me out. And I had to do it. Anyway, I managed it, I think, in 57 seconds or something. But, I'm there in front of 12.5 million people, looking down a camera, just doing this.
The pressure's on now with that.
Yeah, but if you go in the ring and fight in front of 1,000 people, 2,000, whatever, you can stand in front of anyone and speak. That's easy. Fighting's hard. Talking's easy. So yeah, I've been very fortunate. I've just actually, speaking of which, Lee, I've just been asked to go to Italy on the 20th of this month to a new group coming up called Fight Clubbing. And this guy called Andrea, he's just asked me to go out there because COVID pretty much nailed a lot of stuff.
Didn't it?
But it's all starting to pick up again. Yeah. So I'll be in a place called Pescara on the 20th of May, and it's going out on the DAZN, the DAZN, the big network. So you'll be in the Bolton dulcet tones again. Back in, get in.
Sandy, have you ever had to commentate on one of your own fighters?
I have not.
Lucky, that must be hard. It must be really difficult to do.
Do you know what I had to do? Do you know, Lee, this is funny. I went to Bristol with Master Sken to Apple Studios. You can get it out there, it's probably on YouTube. And it's called Muay Thai 1 and Muay Thai 2 with Grandmaster Sken, just me and him on it. A 2-day shoot. And they said it's going to be 8 to 10 hours on the Saturday and 8 to 10 hours on the Sunday. But people don't know Master Sken. And we did 6 hours on the Saturday and we had it done in 3 hours on the Sunday. And the producer and the director couldn't believe how fast we did it. But he's a one-take man, do you know what I mean? And I you know, the pressure was on me really, because I'm not a one-take man. I haven't got his skills. You know, I was just doing the stuff with him and hitting the pads and all them and doing stuff. And I had to do I had to do the talkover for a very similar one that we did like that, and it was just called Muay Thai Seminar, and I had to commentate, but I'm on it. And it's like, how do you do that?
Yeah, commentate about
and it was
yourself.
weird because, but I had to do it, and I didn't know how to do it. And I was like, and I said, here's Master Sken now with his student, you know, Junior Salmon, and he's here with, you know, Humphrey Harrison, and he's now performing the roundhouse kick. And there's Sandy Holt doing 20 roundhouse kicks. I'm thinking, and then at the end of it, I said, well, you know, I'm Sandy Holt, and thanks for watching. Afterwards, I thought, how do you do that? I did it, but I don't know whether anyone would have picked up on that. So that was the weirdest thing I had to do.
So Sandy, where can people find you if they want to interact with you or train with you and stuff?
Well, if you just go, like you said, before off camera, you were talking about social media. You know, it's massive now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, with obviously Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and God knows what, the TikTok, you know, TikTok, DickDoc, whatever. I don't know what's going on. But for most part, Facebook, just, you know, look at Sandy Holt, Bolton Thai Boxing Club. My gym's been going since 1983. I've just moved gyms actually about 6 months ago, and it's a dream come true, Lee. The place I was in before, the premises there, I was there for 33 years, and they knocked it down only last year. So I got relocated. Well, I had to do it myself. This place I've got now, it's something I dreamed about. I've got 3 rooms. I only ever had one. I wanted lights outside with Bolton Thai Boxing Club lit up. I've got all that. And I've just got some great instructors around me and great friends, and we've managed to, you know, get my gym running, and it's up and running, and it looks mint. A lot of time, a lot of hard work, a lot of money, but you know, I'm still going strong. In fact, somebody asked me the other day, you know, Sandy, are you ever going to retire? And I go, absolutely not. Call me McYoda.
As I already answered, I think my next question, I was going to say, what have you got planned for the future?
The future's bright. The future's colourful, and I'm going to keep going. And I will probably, if I die kicking, you know, I say Muay Thai till I die. You know, and it was that comedian who died on stage. Was it Tommy Cooper?
Just like that.
Just like that, and then keeled over, and people thought it was part of the act. So I'll probably do my last press up and keel over, or my last kick and drop dead. And hopefully I'll be buried in the press up position, or with some spikes or something, and maybe leave something there for people to follow. I don't know.
I'm just going to fire a few quick, short questions for you. Favourite technique?
All of them that work. Muay Thai, every punch, elbow, kicks, and knee, they all work. I have no favourite, because Master Sken used to say, train to be an all-rounder. If you're a good boxer, a kicker will expose you. If you're a good kicker, a clincher will clinch you.
Yeah.
So I'm not the best at everything, but I have tried to make everything equal. You know, I'm a great believer of balance. So my left is probably slightly better than my right now, but I am actually right-handed. I'm a great believer of, you know, whoever, you know, whether you believe in God or whoever, there's no difference between the left and the right side of your body.
Yeah.
No difference between your left leg and your right leg. You don't walk on one leg, you don't use one hand. So, you know, why you've got one side dominant, make them both the same. And that's something that I have trained myself to do, and I try and teach that to my students.
Favourite fighter from the past?
A person who I had the pleasure to train in the ring with in Thailand in 1984, Samat Payakarun, and he's a legend. And he's still going today. He's still got his own gym, and he looks fantastic. You know, he was a legend back in the day.
Favourite fighter of the present day?
Well, do you know what? Liam Harrison's been my favourite for the last. He's been going for 2 decades, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he just keeps going. Obviously, you know, Haggerty's sort of the new name now, isn't he? And there's lots of other fighters, Josh Hill, there's loads of people in the UK that are shining, loads of great women fighters as well, which I've always been one for pushing. Some fantastic lady fighters out there, too many to mention. You know, just I'm inspired by them all.
Yeah. Last question for me, Sandy. Have you got any inspirational, inspiring words for people that are sort of coming up in the ranks or just starting out?
Again, I'm going to use that word, discipline and respect. And, you know, Master Sken always says to me, 3 Ds: discipline, determination and dedication. The 3 Ds, you can maybe use that as your ethos. And I've done that pretty much all my life. You know, I've tried to keep a life where I am not better than you, Lee, or any person on this planet, because I say this. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I've never touched a drug in my life. Doesn't mean I'm going to live longer than you. Doesn't mean I'm better than anyone. You know, I have a good life without any enhancements, any chemicals, you know. And again, it doesn't make me better than anyone. I just basically, you know, I like to just, that's the way my parents brought me up. Grandmaster Sken is the same. He's been a great role model. Attach yourself to a good role model, because good people will give you good things, bad people will give you bad things. It's a simple ethos.
Yeah, lovely. We've rounded it up there, Sandy. Thank you ever so much for coming on. Your time's appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
this.
so much.
I do appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Come and see us in Bolton. Okay, please come and see us, Bolton Thai Boxing Club.